What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Talking Reacher. This is for Reacher Season 3, Episode 2, Truckin. My name is Adam Vale. I'm a senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
And I'm Lawrence, a.k.a. a punk with toys, and we're going to be talking Episode 2 of Season 3.
Truckin. I brought this up when we were watching this episode. Like, this shouldn't be the name of the episode. It should be, was it Angel Talks Too Much?
Yeah, Angel talks too much. I think that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, because that was a big part of this episode, even though it felt really short for some reason. Just from the beginning to the end, I was expecting a lot more. I guess maybe it was just all the dialogue, all the talking, the conversations. They were longer than I thought it was because I'm waiting for something big to happen, which something did, and we'll get to. But
yeah, so this is a 40-minute episode, and I feel like this one was more of a setting up the rest of the season.
Oh, definitely.
Wasn't a lot of action. A few plot holes that we noticed that we might mention as we go along. Yeah. Not so much plot holes in the story, but like, really? Come on.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get into it. So some housekeeping. Thanks, people. As you know, myself and Lawrence, we teamed up. We're big into Reacher. We want to cover this. So if you're interested, you can either subscribe over on Spotify, or as it's called there, follow. And then, of course, on YouTube, you can follow us here over the Coalition. And Lawrence has his channel if you want to see more of his stuff there. But we are here to talk some Reacher. So thanks again for joining us for this. And as he just mentioned, there were some plot holes, or should I say some things that just don't make sense. Not so much plot, but like, he's on a compound. We can just dive into it. Again, people, I'm sure, like I mentioned before in the first episode, if you've seen that one, and that's also in the description, we will be spoiling this. This is a discussion, a recap. So if you haven't seen episode 2, then pause this, come back later, because we don't want to spoil it for you. So this is all episode 2.
We'll still be here. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll still be here. Okay, so right off the bat, if you remember the last episode, Reacher snuck out. He's like in the barn area. He finds...
Well, it starts right off at the beginning of
episode 1 with the earring. Yeah. He finds Teresa's earring. Yeah, so he's out there, and we were already trying to had some jokes on how he got out of his room. This like 6'3" bulk of a man, right, walking on the roof. I mean, in my house, if I hear a bat or anything, I'm getting up, I'm waking up. So I just can't imagine. But whatever, let's put that disbelief right there. Let's just, Anyway, he makes a phone call, tells Duff, hey, she was definitely here. There was some food, this and that. But that's it. Now let's get back into the room because, again, it's like 3-something in the morning.
And so
go for it.
But he's talking to Susan, but he makes it clear that even if she isn't alive or she's been being kept well, she's fed, there's a space heater down there. So again, it's coming back to like they're not torturing her, at least as of yet.
Yeah, they're not torturing her. We don't know if she's dead. I doubt it, but well, who knows? But the point is,
I doubt it too.
One of the things that we notice, he's walking through the courtyard, get back to the house. There's no guards. Now it does get mentioned later on. Remember, the guy said that they were understaffed, right? That they bring that up. They didn't have enough, but still have cameras. If this guy.
And he's just walking across the lawn like he was playing golf on a golf course.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm gonna sneak.
Yeah, he's not ducking. He's this mountain, like you said, a mountain of a man. Just walking across, and then we see a couple car lights.
Yeah. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna climb back up, because that was the other question. Then it's like, how did he get back into his room? I'm just gonna come up the way that I came, and I'm just gonna climb up the side, and I'm gonna grab onto the railings up here. And we know it's not gonna hold a man like that, but whatever.
Well, he climbs up it. Angel shows gutters. Up with I lost it.
Was that not Duke? Was that Duke? That was Duke. Yeah. Duke with Duke, right? So
we see Duke walking. He's just walking up the stairs, and at the same time, Reacher's trying to get into his room. Now, I'm sorry, there's no one, and I'm a 49-year-old man who's lifted weights, skateboarded. I have knees that are shot. No one is climbing up the side of my house faster than I can walk up the steps. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. And not making any noise. You would definitely hear that. The man is wearing boots. Okay, he is not wearing.
You mentioned about him falling, and then he's holding onto the gutter.
Yeah, he's holding onto the. Come on now.
What super gutters are these?
I don't know, man. Yeah. So of course they build the tension. Is he going to be in the room by the time Duke opens the door? Of course he is. Because if not, then that's it. Sound the alarm. It's over. It's chaos. So, but he opens up the door. This is Duke. He goes in. He takes a look. Doesn't see him. He sees the open window. Gives that little tension. Oh, maybe he did make up. But no, he comes out just in his undies, pulling. When I saw that image, I was thinking of Marky Mark. Remember back in the day?
Oh my gosh!
With the Calvin Klein ads, I'm freaking on billboards of the dude just with the undies on. And I was like,
oh man.
So that's what I thought of, and I was like, well, yeah. I mean, he's a Hulk of a man.
That song. They should have that song playing in the background.
They should have had it playing in the truck. In the truck, they could have had. He is in Boston. Okay.
You're right. He's in Boston too. So.
Right. So it would have made perfect sense, and then he could just turn to us like, I hate that song, because we know Mark Wahlberg. That's part of his deal. Whenever he does interviews, you can't bring up the past. Definitely not that.
Is it really?
He does not like talking about it.
Side note: I hate when actors or actresses they don't like talking about their past. I'm sorry. That is what brought you to where you are today.
Yeah.
Embrace it. Embrace it.
It's true.
Because if someone wants to talk about it, more than likely, they there's something about it they love. Bruce Campbell and Ash, Evil Dead. I'm sorry.
He embraces it. Bruce Campbell. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He embraces it. So anyway.
Yeah.
We could do a whole other episode.
Oh, that's a whole other one. Yeah. All right. So what was it? So then he comes out and he's like, oh, whatever. All right. Well, get ready. We got to go. Go for what? We got the job. I was like, well, okay. Well, it's like 3:30 in the morning.
3:42 in the morning.
3:42 in the morning. Where are we going? Well, we're going into the impound. You have to go. You're going to meet up with Angel. He's going to take you there. Got to take pictures of the vehicle, of the pickup truck, because they got information about the truck and stuff like that. All right. They have someone on the inside, right? That's the other thing. It's all about inside. It's off camera. So it's like, how did they get this? We don't see that part. Later on, Angel sort of brings up that he knows somebody to know someone.
Yeah. But he's like, give me 5 minutes, and then he has to make a call to Susan. And they only gave him 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And yet he's able to relay everything that they're doing. Now, it's, as I mentioned to you while we were watching it, 3:42 in the morning. He calls Susan, and what is she doing? She's making breakfast at 3:42 in the morning, wide awake.
Yeah. Now, maybe it has to do with the guy they're interrogating, the bodyguard. Maybe that's why they're all up. I don't know if that's the reason, but I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't add up with what's going on for that timing.
It doesn't, but now they're going to the police impound at 3:42 in the morning.
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning. This is where I'm like, all right, this is where you kind of got to take logic out. Mm-hmm. And my daughter and I, we watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
That's coming back. Did you hear about that?
I know. And she's excited. We haven't finished it. I finished it, but she hasn't. Okay. And anytime we bring up logic, I'm like, no logic. No logic. Like,
mm-hmm. and this is one of those situations too, because you're like, all right, let's put that aside.
But I noticed it, and you noticed it too. So it's not just
no. Right? We see it, and I'm sure the listeners and viewers are also like, yes. None of this really makes sense. But you know what? We're here for the ride.
They make a point of 3:42 in the morning, and I'm like, dude, I don't sleep. Yeah, 3:42 in the morning. I'm not making dinner. I'm making breakfast.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right.
So then they get in the car, right? Then while they're there, Angel starts telling the story about his nickname. Was it Angel something? I'm just calling him Angel. But basically, his grandma or someone said that
Angel Doll.
Angel Doll, right? He was like
his name is Angel Doll.
He was the prettiest baby at the fair. That's what he said. He was the prettiest baby at the fair.
And Rich is like, you won?
Yeah, there you go. And he starts talking about, all right, well, what's the plan? Now, the main reason also is that, and this is where this whole scenario takes place and what's going on, is that they realize, this is with Reacher and Duffy, is that the car that had the bodyguard that they said was killed or whatever is in the same impound.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, if we go there and we're taking pictures of the truck, this guy is going to see this other car and realize that, wait a minute, there's no way there was an explosion, because it would be blood matter all over brains. It would be a mess. He's not going to see it that way. So Duff is like, oh, well, I'll head down there and I'll move the car out. How? We don't know. They don't even know at the time. Right. So your favorite buddy of theirs, what, Bella, right? Says, all right, let's go.
Billy.
Billy, there you go. See, that
Billy.
Billy.
It sounds like the same Billy, but his name is Villanueva. So she's got to be saying Billy.
She's got it. Oh, and that looks at my note. That's right. And she also has a nickname, Irish. Billy likes to call her Irish. So it's already like, we're trying to get her familiar with her name is Duffy, Susan, and Irish, whatever. Okay. So while Reacher and Angel are en route, this is all Angel's time, right? This is all Angel talking about his life, talking his plans. He was like, all right, this is what's going to happen.
And he has all these connections, and that's how he's able to get the license plates, get the fingerprints. He doesn't really elaborate too much on it, I don't believe, but we find out he's done something that he has an in.
Oh yeah, he definitely has in. But the key part in that conversation in the car is that we find out Zachary is not the boss, because as Angel's talking about, oh yeah, this is good for us, and we're gonna move up fast, and this and that. It's like, oh yeah, so Zachary likes to move people up within, and he's like, oh, not Zachary. So it could be Quinn. That's the obvious choice, because that is the villain that Reacher's chasing for. But maybe they throw in a curveball and there's somebody else, or maybe it's someone that's in that. Maybe it's Duke. I don't know.
I don't think that it's Quinn, only because Reacher seemed very confused that Beck wasn't the boss, right?
Yeah.
Like he seemed really confused, and had he not seemed confused, like, knowing that, hey, you know what? I already know Quinn's the boss. So I have a feeling it's going to be that Quinn's been working for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe, it's right. Or maybe it's one of those situations where, as we know that with Robert, the son, that he was kidnapped before, and then after that, Zachary decided to hire some kind of security agency, and that's what Quinn has been doing, and these people work for him, or maybe they work for a security agency, so they don't really work for Zachary. They work for this.
It could be.
It could. I don't know, but we'll get into. I'm sure more. Yeah, we want to find out. Yep, we got a few more episodes to go. So then we find out that, and then also his plan of getting in there to take pictures of this car. He figures, hey, there's going to be one guy there who's new and it already has a horrible shift doing that overnight, so I'm just going to give him $500. And Reacher's like, well, what if he doesn't want to take it? What if he's on the up and up? And it's like, oh, well, then, and he shows his gun. I'll give him something else. All right.
And so again, cameras. This is a police impound. All right. This is not the run-of-the-mill impound in Detroit that towed your car. And you know what? They're going to take $500 cash because, you know what? They're going to pocket the majority of it, right? Police impound.
Fact. Also, police impound. You would not get that close. They would still have the gate closed with a camera asking for your information. I've seen these. It was like, what's your business here, especially at this now almost 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 a.m. at this point.
They're close. This isn't just like a county pound. This is a police location. Come on now. You can't just stroll in at 4 a.m. and like. But hey, again, we gotta put that out of mind, and we're like, hey, it's for the show. It's for the show. Right. It's for the show. Right? It makes good TV. So here it is. First, it's before Reacher and Angel get there, Duffy gets there with Villa, and she flashes her DEA badge. Like, hey, listen, we got a few people.
Doesn't have any other credentials. Just here's my badge from Dollar General.
That's it, exactly. She flashes it, boom, boom. 2 seconds. There you go. There was no like, let me take another look. Let me call my superior. Let me see if anyone else knows that someone's coming here. Maybe. Nope. He was like, all right, go ahead. And when they cut away to him, because you see Duffy and they cut away, I was like, oh, this is when he picks up the phone. No, he just sits back. I was like, you might as well just put a Game Boy in his hand.
Right now, people are going, Dude, I thought you guys liked this movie, or this show. All you're doing is tearing it apart.
We do like this, and it's just that. Come on, sometimes there's some things that are just so obvious. It's like we're not nitpicking; it's in our face. We're not seeing stuff in the background where they're like, oh, "It's a secure area," and we see a group of people walking around. No, this is right in front of us.
This is what happens when you write notes down to do a show, and you're like, you're writing. You're like, oh my god! Like, now you realize you're not sitting back and just watching it for enjoyment. You're analyzing it. So, but we do like the show. All right?
We do like the show.
I feel like we're done with this.
It's getting good. It's getting good. And you just got to take it for what it is.
Yes.
Right. So then that happens. She goes back there. She finds the vehicle, and then she's like, "I'm gonna move it myself." You know, and Phil's like, "What do you mean you can move? I can move it. How? Even if you move it,
the car in front."
Yeah, and there's a car in front because it's blocking it in. It's like, but then even then I'm thinking, well, and I brought this up, I was like, well, if you can't move it, obviously you can't by yourself. It has nothing to do with it being a woman, just by yourself. Then just put like a car sheet over it. You know, cover it up.
Yeah.
That there has to be one in that lock. There has to be. But
and the truth is, I mean, the fact that there's going to be no blood matter, it's supposed to be a grenade. They're absolutely correct. That would not have been just in a regular police impound. That would have been put somewhere else for evidence because there would have been, you know, all that other shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one, I guess.
Yeah. And so Villa was like, well, no, it's all right. It's true. We got to bring this up. So, you know, Villa gets on the phone. He's talking. He's like, let me just come in and help. No. You got to stay out there and be the watch out. Well, sure enough, he's ducking down. Like, they're here. You know, so now it's their turn. Now, I'm sure at this point, this night guard has to be thinking something's up. I mean, even if he gives which he does, a whole speech, I'm new, and come on now, how many visits did he ever get? You know, at this hour. Yeah, especially at that time. But of course, Angel comes in with some lame excuse. Oh, I was cheating on my girl. She left her, you know, underwear in here. Can I just go back there and get it? Because, you know, once we get the car back, I don't want to get in trouble. So whatever. The guard's just staring at him, stone face. Like, I'm not sure if he's buying it or not. I was waiting for a snappy comeback the way he was just staring at him. Like, this is BS. But no, he's giving the whole speech, and he's like, all right, here's $5. You know, didn't even say the amount. Just to say, here's some money. Let me go back.
No, I thought he said $500 earlier on.
He did. He said 500 in the car, but when he didn't say not to the guy. Yeah. I mean, that would be the most important part to tell, you know, to that person. It's like, hey, here's $5. Exactly. Here you go. What do you think? You know, it could have been $20. I don't know. But anyway, the guy says, hey, I just started the job. I can't. My old lady's going to get mad, the whole thing. And then instantly you start seeing, you know, the camera pans down. You see Angel reaching for his gun. Reacher sees this, and he just uses that big lunchbox of a hand. And just one punch, bam, right to the face. And you know what? You brought it up. He was like, one punch knockout? Maybe it wasn't that. Let's just put it this way. Maybe it was the head hitting the ground that knocked him out.
He went straight down.
Yeah, he went straight down. He didn't secure the back of his head. I mean, you know, he just, boom, he's out. Like,
and I mentioned to you, or I don't know if you felt that way. It was like this chubbier or like younger looking cop, and all I could think of,
police academy.
If you guys are our age, you know, almost 50, it's one of the police academies. The one guy that gets thrown over in the Kodak camera, and it floats away, and he like fists at him. He's like, "I'm gonna get you." That's all I could see is that cop. As I could, or that police academy officer in that guy. So
whenever I see really tall cops, I think of Hightower. That's it. I'm like, oh, Officer Hightower. You know. Oh man.
Michigan State.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so all right. So then they walk in. Now this is Reacher and Angels. They walk into the back area. They start looking around. Angel sees the pickup truck. He starts snapping pictures. Now Reacher's just standing around looking. He's like, "Where's stuff?" He's looking around, and then it makes it seem like the coast is clear because Angel's like, "All right, I got my shots. Let's get out of here. We can go." Yeah. And then while they're on their way out, all of a sudden he sees on the side of a glance of his eye. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's the car. That's one of our cars."
Yeah, that's the Beamer.
That's the Beamer. And he's like, "No, what do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, no, this is it." That way, he's examining it and doing the whole thing. Now, what was it? She replaced the plates, right?
Swap the plates.
Swap the plates with a Delaware. I think that's what he had mentioned. Delaware plates. And he He's like, oh, no, this can't be it. It's a Delaware police. Like, yeah, but it's got the dent on the side, and it's got even the other damage that I guess was nicks on the car that he remembers. And he's like, no, and Reacher's like, well, no, it's just there's plenty of those type of cars out there on the road.
Yeah, and he even kind of elaborates that, hey, that thing is probably somewhere else with forensic files or something like that. But he's absolutely right. I mean, that Beamer. I mean, you see those Beamers all the time. If you're in a big area like out in Metro Detroit, you see that color all the time. So it's not that crazy to think that.
No. And then also, Angel was like, hey, you were the policeman, right? You were the MP. Yep. You're pretty good. All right, I'll take your word for it. Let's get out of here. Let's go.
And this is on par going all the way back to the movies where he has this knowledge and he'll just kind of rattle off exactly what our procedure would be or like what's about to happen. So that's right on par. It's not like something that's not one of the way off things. It's right there. And sorry about the hands. Like
no, it's fine. I do
love it. Is coming out.
That's all right. Hey. All right. So then after they do that, they head out. Right? They go back to the house. Now, there's also a quick cut that we see back with the interrogation that's going on, right, with the bodyguard. And that, I didn't like that. That's the one part of the episode I didn't really like because of that.
See, I mean, they had already elaborated that, yeah, we're going to hold him without cause, basically, so you don't know. And yeah, he's handcuffed to a chair. I like the fact that there wasn't any type of escape, but Susan comes in and, what was the game? Elliot. Elliot was already kind of like, he's not making friends with them, but hey, I'm trying to sleep, right? He's being nice with him. And Susan comes in flipping out, starts hitting him in the head with a book.
Yeah, because he's cursing at her and stuff and calling her names. And it's like,
and really has to stop it.
Yeah,
and she chucks the book at him. That made me laugh at the end. Like the last one, she just chucks it at him.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. That and from what was it? That happened before they left. But it's just like, why? Why do we need? Because here's the thing. All right, we get it. He's this bad guy, whatever, supposedly. Because right now, all we really know is that he's a bodyguard for the boy. Yeah. I think he just could be that, just a bodyguard. Because they're like, what do we know about it? Yeah.
Like, story like, hey, I'm just a bodyguard. Like I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know because they're asking about Teresa.
And then it's the thing, just like we found in the last episode, and then Villa brought it up here. They're not technically on an active case, so they shouldn't be doing this. They can't hold them. So what's the end game for this? Because so people think he's dead, or at least his employers think he's dead. Do you let him go? Then what? Then he goes back. Then everything is busted. So do you hold him until the case is closed? And that's what I'm assuming. They're thinking we're going to hold him until we have solid evidence to bring down Zachary and all the other people, and then we'll let him out. But or you kill him. I mean, what? Because then he could go to the police and say, "Hey, the DEA agents helped me, but against my will for no reason."
I hope it's not I hope that's not a plot hole where they just needed that and then like they don't have an answer at the end of the end of the season, that there's just like, well, wait a minute, what happened? That like nothing was explained what happened with the body. So I hope they don't do that. I hope there is an explanation.
Oh, you know what? I hope people that have read this novel don't spoil it in the chat. Yes. Please. We know you probably like, I know exactly what happened. Here we go, buddy. You're gonna type it out. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're just going with just the story as is. Right. So right now we see this as being a problem with the plot. This could be a problem. All right, so now Reacher, Angel, they get back to the mansion. Reacher heads to his room. He's like, all right, I'm going to crash.
Wait a minute. We forgot one thing. We forgot the George Jefferson joke.
Oh, yes. Moving on up.
Angel gets out and he says something like, I'm George Jefferson, moving on up. And I'm like, we both were like, yeah. Was it a George Jefferson reference?
And I'm sure, I mean, people in our generation, they got that, but for everybody else, we could throw a bunch of that. We could throw in All in the Family, how that connects with George Jefferson. That was the original to spin off. And then,
right now,
how about the the cleaning lady who left and started her own business, 227. She got her own show. Remember,
Yep.
that was a whole thing for a long time. But yeah, George Jefferson.
I'm picturing George Jefferson in his walk.
Oh, that walk.
And also
The
goes to the
head
Fresh
up.
Prince when they buy. Or do they end up buying the Fresh Prince Uncle Phil's house at the end? I know
The
they're there to look
Jeffersons?
at it.
The Jeffersons?
So at the end of at the last, I think it's the last episode of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
They're showing the house to people, and the Jeffersons are one of the people that come to take a look.
No.
Yeah. Him and Wheezy.
What? No.
Yep.
I gotta look this up.
And then what was her name? Wasn't Flo, was it? Because
No. Flo is Flo is
Alice.
I
I can't think of her name.
I forgot her name because there was I forgot. But then she left and she became the landlady of that building, or she bought the building, and that's where we got 227.
But I don't think 227 was. I don't think that was a spinoff, was it?
That was her leaving. She still played the same character, if I remember right, because once it ended. See, now we're on a whole sitcom. No, but I have to look that up about Weezy Jefferson buying.
We're never going to finish that. Yes,
this is people are like
another Jefferson spinoff.
Right? People are like, what the hell? I tuned in to hear about Reacher. These fools are talking about the Jeffersons.
Well, again, I do a Monday night show on toys called Monday Night Toy Ramblings. So believe I ramble on, and I am like a squirrel, man.
There you go. And if you've heard this, jump into that chat and then bring up your answers. If you have the answers, you can clear this up.
Yes.
There you go. That's it. So wait, now what do we? Oh yeah, there. So all right. So the back in the house, Reacher thinks he could sleep because he hasn't slept yet. Remember, he was up all night investigating. Yeah. And then next, the big boss, Zachary, comes in. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm trying to sleep.
The maid is in the room first.
Oh yeah, French maid. That's right.
The maid is looking for. He's like, I didn't steal anything. I don't have anything. She's like, I just didn't have a chance to clean. And
now, you buy that? I don't buy it.
I don't either.
Yeah,
why would the maid be in there? He just, like he said, I just got here. So what would the maid be in there for?
Clean up your clothes. This is all I have. Yeah, I noticed that you didn't even bring a bag. And he's like, this is all I own. It's like so crazy.
And a toothbrush. You forgot the toothbrush.
And a toothbrush. Hey. Oh man, he's home. Think about it, no deodorant. This guy. Oh.
I don't want to think about that.
We got a Glenn Danzig situation here. Reeking on stage or something. Oh man. All right. So yeah, there goes that. But then the boss shows up.
And he just lays down. And then here comes Zachary.
That's it. Hey, you gotta go. What am I doing now? You gotta do a delivery. Go downstairs, Duke get you set up, and then you gotta head out on the road.
They're in the gym right now.
Oh yes, they're in the gym. Duke and Paulie. Duke and Paulie. So he's like, all right, fine. I'm heading down. Now this is another little part where I wasn't too sure of the pause, because you see Zachary walk down the stairs, but then he stops. I thought maybe he was waiting to hear a big, 6'3" man stomping down the stairs, and he doesn't. So I thought maybe he's going to go back up, but no, that wasn't the case. It was he decided to go pay a visit to his son. First time we've seen them interact.
Yeah, and I think this is an important part because he sits down with his son, and he tells him this is never going to happen again. But you can tell that he's genuine. He cares about his son. Like, this isn't like we've seen a lot of other shows and movies where, hey, this isn't going to happen again. That's the end of it. Like, he's concerned. And his son is not happy. He's like, I think about it every single day I look in the mirror. Because he has, he's like Evander Holyfield. He's missing
yeah. He's like, this has happened, yeah.
So we've learned that Zachary isn't the boss, and clearly he also he has feelings for his son. So I think you might be right when you talk about maybe he was kidnapped and that's how he ended up getting wrapped up into all of this.
Yeah. There's a lot more that we need to find out about this whole thing and what's going on. But that's it. They have that little moment. But then the funny part comes in, and I was expecting a little more in this scene. I don't know why. I thought maybe there would be more to it. But Richard goes down. Duke heads up. He's like, all right, getting out of
Goes
here.
down to the gym.
Right? He goes down to the
He's
gym. You see
doing.
Paulie doing incorrect bench presses.
No. He's benching properly, but Duke is doing like the worst dips ever. Like I've done dips with the bench, but you don't have your feet bent like you're seating, like you're sitting. But then we see what's his name? The big guy,
The Paulie.
Paulie,
Yeah.
just benching massive amounts of weight. And the guy's a huge man, right? 7'2". We've already discussed it. And the guy's huge. But once he finishes, he asks Reacher, "How much do you bench?" And he basically says, "Benching's for pussies."
Yeah, he says I don't bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of thing he doesn't. Which again, come on now. Look how massive you are. Don't tell. How are you getting all the? You're not going to the gym. We don't see you lifting weights, so you're doing something.
Have you ever seen in any of in Predator, Commando, any of these movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger working out? Never.
Well, they always carry big guns. Those guns are heavy. And so maybe,
I didn't want to say any movie because someone would be like, he did Pumping Iron and he did Hercules. And like, all right.
He did Raw,
But he's never working out, like True Lies. True Lies and Jingle All the Way. A very underrated Christmas movie, might I add. This guy's a massive guy. And it's like, oh my God, no one wonders when he has time to work out. But again, sidetracked
again. Yeah. That's it. So he's like, no, I don't do that. It doesn't matter to me. And he's like, oh, well, then what do you do? And he's like, what was it? It's a Bulgarian arm wrestling or?
I think it was
Bavarian. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I looked up. I couldn't find anything. Yeah. But
I knew as soon as he did that, I even said he's going to punch himself in the face.
Yeah, he's like, you put your arm on this mat here, and then you stick it out like you're going to arm wrestle, but then I'm standing up, and that's Reacher and holding it, and he's pulling it down, and he's like getting this whole tension, and it looks like it's happening, and then, like you said, let's go flying, and it hits Paulie in the face. He goes flying back, and he's like, sorry, my hand slipped. And that's it. And then he stands up. It looks like they're ready to go to blows, and then Duke was like, come on, we got to go.
Yep.
And this is why I was expecting a little more. I was expecting something else.
I thought we were going to see I thought we were going to see a little bit more of a competition of lifting, where Paulie would have clearly been stronger and him be like, all right, great. Like he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Which again, it leads back to his character.
So he gets in the truck. This is Reacher, and he's by himself. I really thought they were gonna bring somebody along, and he's like, nope, this is it. And then while he's on the road en route to where he has to go, he calls Duffy and starts telling her everything that we just talked about, all this stuff going on. And he was like, right. She says there's a truck stop or some kind of pit stop, some midpoint area, so that way he can quickly make a pit stop, pull over, and then they can search the flatbed. They can search the back of the truck
because she knows somebody.
Yeah. She says she knows somebody that she's going to bring over. Also, he says they need a welding iron because they got to take everything off and put it back on. I mean, that's pretty obvious when you do that type of thing. I mean, he doesn't know who is going to be inspecting the truck. If they see these trucks day in and day out, opening and closing, they're going to notice, some kind of work done, whatever. Again, we got to put that aside. And so he pulls into this lot. And now the one thing that does stick with all this is timing, because just like anyone watching this was like, well, if you're pulling over, then to make a pit stop, how much time are you going to put over? And then you
have to have everyone time at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And he pulls over, they get out, they open it up, right? And then the police officer, the canine officer, shows up.
Yeah,
and that was
formerly Dickie, now Robert, with his dog, the Visor. Yeah, Visor, because he likes drugs.
Yes, and he says he's the best. And they open it up, and there's rugs in the back, and they have him go in there, and he sniffs it out, sniffs nothing.
Yeah.
And then Susan asks, because she's worried that there might be Teresa's body in there. And he asks her, he goes, what is he? He says something like, "He's like, are you prepared for this?"
Yeah, that was Reacher. Yeah, asking him, was like, you prepared
And
to find
Reacher
it?
asks, "Are you prepared if she's dead?" And Dickie says, "Nope. He would have found a cadaver."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
out of the woods, as far as we know, Teresa is still alive.
yeah. Yep. And so they close it up. They thank
Welded.
the cop. He heads on his way, and then Reacher takes out the welding iron, and he makes a comment. She was like, "Do you know? Have you ever used it?" And he's like, "Only to get someone to talk or something like that." He said, so it's like she gives him like this look. He's like, "Oh, yeah." And so I guess he was able to do a good welding job on his first try. I've tried welding. It's a skill. It's definitely a skill, and there's a reason why they have a union and all kinds of stuff going on with the welders, because it's not an easy job. If anybody can do it, I mean, he's not doing a big welding job, but still, you got to make it look believable.
It's still, again.
Yeah, it's TV. It's TV. Yeah, but here's the part that threw me off, and maybe we missed it. Maybe it's something we missed, because now he's driving, and Duffy's in the car in the passenger side.
So I don't know why she decided to get in the car. Or how they why he just couldn't talk to her on the phone.
Yeah. Why not just keep talking on the phone? Because remember, once he pulled in, he gave this whole, like we talked about before, how Reacher likes to overanalyze the situation. He was like, "Hey, I stood here for a while because I was waiting. It takes like 72 seconds or something." He was giving this whole mathematical adding up how the time it takes to know if someone's actually following him. But that was on the ground, so it could be a drone. He doesn't know, but he doubts it because of the distance, and he goes into that. But anyway, it's just funny that now it's like, oh, well, let me just jump in the car with you, and then I'll hitch a ride all the way till some point and then jump out, because I'm sure Villa that he was following. I don't know. That was
what I forgot that I wanted to mention. When he gets off, because he pulls around before anything, and he's counting, and we find out that when he gets off the freeway at 50 miles an hour, for 1 mile, it would take 72 seconds to get there.
Yeah, but then he started speeding up. And she said, lay off lead foot. And he was like, I have to make up for the time from when we pulled over. And then they started talking about other things with the case and, who's really involved. And he starts talking about maybe there's another boss. Angel was saying all this other stuff. But then eventually they pull over and then she gets out. And again, like you said, it didn't fit. It wasn't needed, because they could have just said all that on the phone. Because now you're putting yourself at risk. What if someone was following, or
it did not seem like where he drops Susan off, and it's Susan Duffy. I'm calling it. Yeah. That's my ex's name.
You're calling Susan. I'm calling Duffy. Yeah. Phyllis calling her Irish. She's got 3 names.
I want people to be like, wait a minute. That's my baby's mama's name. So I think she's the same name, Susan. All right. And I hear Duffy, I think of Pat Duffy from Dallas. Anyway.
And when I think of Duffy, I think of the drummer from Guns N' Roses.
I also think of The Simpsons. Duff Beer. But he drops her off. It seemed like he dropped her off like right where he was pulling into.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess it was the way they edit, because it's like he drops off, she gets out, she gets in the car with Willem, then he takes off, but then shortly after he shows up at the location, he gets out, there's a guy there, they open up, and then he makes it look like he's surprised. He looks, he was like, rugs? I was like, what did you think was in here? Of course, rugs. Which also I think was intentional, because maybe he's trying to say, hey, there is still people that just work a regular job here. Not everybody's involved in the shenanigans that Zachary is involved in. There is a legit business.
Yes, it has to be a legit business, even if they're laundering money or funneling drugs or whatever they think that they're doing, right? And we don't really know just yet.
Yep.
But we know it's not just rugs, all right? Maybe it's drugs and rugs.
Drugs and rugs, right? There you go. You know what? You could probably do that. Would probably work for a pharmacy. There you go. Yeah. Drugs and rugs. This section, fill your prescriptions, and
I think I'm supposed to go to a pharmacy for work tomorrow. So thanks for bringing that one
There
up.
you go. See, just a quick reminder. Put it on the calendar. Drugs and drugs. Oh man.
um,
Oh, so I'm blanking. What was next? I think this was.
so now he takes the other truck back.
Yes.
He takes the other truck back to the meeting or the warehouse.
This was the fun part. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember the part that gets to the best. Because I'm thinking this whole time watching it, and we were talking about it's like, oh well, this is like a filler. This is the filler episode, story builder. Just to get things going.
Sure.
Yeah, it's trying to get things going with the story. Not a lot of action, not what we're accustomed to with Reacher. But ta-da, it still happens. It happens here.
We also forgot to mention that he calls Neely to get some information.
Yes, that's right.
So now we know she's going to come in because she offers, "Hey, I'm not having anything going on." It's like,
but she's in Illinois because she says if you're in the Chicago area, we can go out wherever. He's like, no, I'm not in there. So
they're not giving her a spin-off show. It's her. She's getting the spin-off show, right?
Yeah, she's getting the spin-off show.
They're not giving her a spin-off show. She's not going to show up, right?
If anything, she'll show up toward the end, and maybe that's an interconnect of the spinoff. Maybe we see that develop. It's like, oh, something just happened. What are we going to do? I'll figure it out. I'm going to go handle it. And she goes, and then there we go. The spinoff starts from there. We saw it materialize from Reacher. That would be cool. We
didn't forget to mention that. So
yeah, that is true. That was one of the calls that he made. All right, so he gets to the main area, the garage, and Angel's there.
Angel's there.
So he goes in there and he's talking, and Angel's like, you know what? And then now all of a sudden, Angel is the detective here because he's put everything together.
Because he has a seventh sense about these types
of things. Yes, the seventh sense of all this.
The seventh sense. He skipped right over the sixth sense of this stuff.
Yep, sixth sense, because now he just, like Sherlock Holmes, has it all planned out. This is it. I know that you were BSing. You must be a cop. There's no way. He checked the car. Right,
figure out the time.
That doesn't add up. He figured out there's no way that he hot-wired because there was no damage. And he's like, I ripped it with my hand. He's like, no. And what about the shavings from when you go into? And he's like, oh, I threw it out. He's like, oh, so you picked up all the little pieces and you threw it out in between all this craziness going on? No.
And for a while, Reacher he had his explanations like he does for everything else. We talked about it. He's very dry when he talks, and so he had an explanation at first, but then it was one after another. And anyone that is a liar knows that once you tell too many lies, it's impossible to cover them up, right?
Yeah, he was gonna, and the breaking point of this was just when Duke shows up, and it's like, all right, it's time to go. And as he's walking out, because he says, well, I gotta go. Angel says, well, let me go talk to him, and let me tell him what I found and the whole thing. And he just grabs his head and slams it right on. And we're talking about this. Back in the day when you would have to like laundry or any of those things, you get those ticket stubs, and then you give it back, and he would put it on a pin so then that we can add up all the work.
The little ticket spike.
Wow. Just slams it. Well, this was.
Yeah, I'm never gonna see one now. The same. And it's like he comes, like it's stuck right to his head, and you're like, because we had to go back and watch it a couple of times.
Yeah.
First off, it froze up for me on my side, so then we had to go back, and then we're like, "What the hell is that?" And I kept watching. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's one of those ticket spikes."
Oh, man. Yeah, it was so quick, and we're like, "All right, that was brutal," but no, it gets better. It gets better because he then drags the body to the desk where Angel was sitting, shoves him under. And he's like, well, he's too long. And starts breaking his legs.
His leg break.
You hear it's like, and he's, again, straight face. You say, and shoving him into the desk area, the under desk. Oh.
But what didn't make any sense is there was a big pool of blood. There was the dragging. Like, you're not really hiding him. And Duke also never made it all the way back. But I have a feeling because Duke asked where Angel is, and he said he talks too much or something.
Yeah, that's what he said. The Angel talks too much.
Yeah, so I have a feeling he's going to say something that he killed him, and there's a reason for it. I just have a feeling
he's got to come clean. He's got to. I mean, it's one thing to say it was an accident. You shoved him underneath a desk in a little box, and there's a pool of blood. You can't lie about that. That's intentional. It's not like, oh, I backed up, the truck and I hit him by accident or something. Make some craziness up. No, you purposely killed him, and then you tried to hide him. So
again, that's the thing I didn't understand. Like, why? Like, you didn't really try and hide him. You were just trying to put him out of the way. But there's a big pool of blood.
Yeah,
they focused on the blood too, so it wasn't like.
Oh yeah. It's a mess. It was a mess. So the only thing I can think of is that at some point he is going to call Susan, Duffy, Irish, same person, and say, "Hey, can you send somebody over there to clean up the mess? Send your guy, send Villa someone to go and clean up because no one's there." And remember, we already know they're understaffed, so it's not like they don't have cameras. Because why would you? Why?
I did not think of that. I didn't think that. Yeah, he could just call up, one of the
DEA guys. Yeah, those people, and then just go.
I had to kill someone. I need him cleaned up. He needs to just disappear. Because then I can kind of explain it like, yeah, he took off with the stuff. Right.
Yeah. So it makes perfect sense now because he's going to whatever mission he's going to go do with Duke. So then that just leaves Paulie, right? Because that's who we've seen. We got Duke, Paulie, and we were introduced to Angel in this episode, and then we say our goodbyes to Angel in this episode. So that's it.
I'm a little disappointed that Angel didn't last a little bit longer. He did add the comedy relief in some way.
Yeah, if anything, I would have liked to see it last a little longer of him trying to put together the puzzle of who Reacher is. And it's like, what? He even says, I don't really like you. And I was like, oh, that's enough. All right, so now we have to worry about this guy snooping around.
Because we also see Angel's not dumb.
No.
I think he's clearly a little impatient with things.
But you know what? Wait, no, he is dumb. He is dumb because one of the first issues that he had with Reacher was the fact that he didn't let Reacher shoot the cop. Well, first off, you shoot a cop, that brings a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Why would you want to see that as your first option? No, the first option should be that what Reacher did, just punch the guy. Well, first you tried the money, didn't work. Then you knock the guy out. You don't kill the cop because even when he wakes up, he is going to tell his superiors what happened. There will be an investigation. They will be like, man, we should have invested in cameras. Oh, this would have been great footage to see these criminals in action. Again, no cameras anywhere.
I mean, there already should be some issues, and I have a feeling these might be some plot holes that when this cop describes who did this, they're going to be like, hey, that's the guy that just shot a cop. Considering, I don't know, probably 6'4", broad shoulders, blonde, perfect looking. All right.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe there will be. Maybe the next episode they will show a camera, like just catching them, and be like, "That's him." Like you said, "Hey, that's him, big guy."
Yeah,
and then
we may be jumping the gun.
Yeah, we might be jumping the gun. Yeah. Again, people, we're watching them and then we're covering it. We're not just like watching all three that just dropped and like, all right, no. So we're taking it. So who knows? Maybe a lot of these get answered in episode 3. So.
And we should also state now, this is the first time I'm watching any of these screeners, but you've watched them before, and you were telling me that, hey, we've done some of these before, and we've talked about stuff that isn't in an episode because we didn't see the final product. So if something shows up or something is taken out,
it's very rare to that effect. Sometimes they do add in some audio and stuff to fix up some plot holes, or it could be like that. It could be like it's someone like on the phone, and then someone will say, "Well, I hope you weren't caught on camera." Because maybe they noticed that they forgot to address something. Things like that. I don't know if it'll be too crazy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You never know. I just want to kind of throw that out there just in case someone's like, hey, wait a minute. That never happened. If Angel's still alive.
Yeah, right. Like, what do you mean Angel's there?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What version did you watch? Oh, man. Right? Oh, man. And we had talked about it before, about the Gladiator 2 and that whole big scandal about that character who was it filmed the whole movie. It was supposed to be Denzel Washington's love interest in that film, and it's all cut out. So I'm sure we'll get a director's cut with all that in, maybe. But who knows?
Which I still say, I do not believe Gladiator 2 was an awful movie. I was okay.
It was okay. It was okay. I liked how they tried to tie it in with Lucius and do that whole thing.
I wish they would not have called it Gladiator 2, and I wish maybe a third of the way through the movie you would have realized, oh my gosh, this is part of the Gladiator universe.
Yeah.
This is and again,
the name sells. That was it. They were like going off the name. They were like, we got this name, we gotta do it. But then that was it. Then it fades out, and we're getting ready for episode 3. But again, everybody, there you go. Thank you for tuning in, and whether it's on the audio or on the video form over on YouTube, for following us. This was Talking Reacher. My name is Adam Vale.
I'm Lawrence, aka A Punk with Toys.
There you go. And we didn't do this in the last episode, but we had talked about it because, again, new show. For 1 out of 5 stars, what are you giving this episode? The last episode, I'd say I give it like a good 4 out of 5. It was good intro. What do you think for this one?
I'd give this one a 3. I think the ending the ending scene, it gave it a little bit more. Again, this is one of those ones where, like, it's kind of a filler, but it leads to the story, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And it did give us some comedic moments.
Yeah. And they definitely, same thing. That last part saved the episode for me because I'm like, all right, I see what's going on, but I was expecting, where's the action? Don't tell me that one punch to the night officer was going to be there, and this made up for it.
You know, in this episode, the only action was the killing of Angel, the officer getting punched in the face, and then Paulie punching himself in the face.
Yeah, that was it.
There's no other real action unless you want to call him falling off the roof,
climbing off ramp,
and hang on to the most powerful gutters ever.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. So yeah, for this episode, I'd say 3, 5, maybe 3.5, just for that ending of putting the guy like in a box, shoving him underneath. That was very unexpected. I did not see that coming.
And I know we did say, hey, you know what? If you have any questions, you have any comments, please leave them down there. I'm still saying the same thing. We can't answer them yet because these haven't aired.
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes we won't be able to answer. So hopefully come episode 4 that we do, if you guys have questions, we'll be able to answer some things, or maybe comment on, maybe you guys are going to correct us. I love being corrected.
Yeah. But I know you opened up the door. Because people that have read the novels are going to do that whole, well, in this scene, this happened, and this thing, and then, Duffy and Reach already, they engaged in relations at this point. There's always going to be something. So,
do it in a respectful way.
Yeah, and try to remember, we're all enjoying it. You don't want to spoil it for people that have not read the novels, just watching the show, just want to see the show. Yeah. So if you can, just keep all your comments and questions and stuff all related to what we've all seen. That would be great.
It's just entertainment. And if you're a prick about things, I'm not going to read your comments. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I'm going to read them, and I'll probably laugh about them. And then on my channel, I'll probably do a mean comment thing that you said to me, and you'll look like a fool.
Oh boy! All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting us. This is Talking Reacher, and I'm out. Lawrence is out. Peace. We'll talk to you later.